Right, guys, pleasure to talk to you. How are you both doing?
Fantastic. Good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Considering the world we currently live in, how's life in this pandemic time for you? Coping as best you can?
Yeah, it's not too bad. We're not hit as bad down here as parts of the rest of the world, as in where you're from and stuff. So, yeah, we still get to work, and but yeah, we still have to keep our distance and all that sort of thing. But yeah, gigs are still shut down, and a lot of places are still shut down. So yeah, it's definitely taking the toll.
That's the major thing, really, I suppose, isn't it? It's the social side of things that's taken a hit more than anything else. News trickles in about what goes on in Australia, but it always seems to be related to your beaches, nothing else.
Yeah, that's it.
What are you guys doing to keep yourself busy then? Just work, music, that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, we're still working, so that keeps 9 to 5 kind of busy. But I mean, having the album coming out around this time, it's keeping us busy. Not an ideal time to release an album, to be honest, but I guess like I said, it's keeping us busy and trying to make plans for whenever we can actually execute things in the future.
Yeah, everything's basically on hold. Well, sort of on hold because, as you say, you've got this album due out in now less than a week. Your debut, Pitchfork Justice. You, when you said it as well, like about how it's not the ideal time. We're getting this a lot from bands who are still able to release the music. Do you still feel positive about it?
Yeah, I mean, we have to, right? I mean, what else can we do? It's cool. I mean, it is what it is. We had things in the works around this for months and months. Could never have foreseen it was going to happen. We announced it 2 weeks before the kind of it all went to shit. So we just persevered, and yeah, I mean, I guess the benefit is people are kind of had a bit more free time on their hands. So we're getting good response from people who have heard it, and everyone seems to be digging it. So yeah, I mean, the main thing is we just want to tour, and so
Yeah.
and we had a bunch of touring plans that have now fallen through. So we have no idea still when we can sort of pick those up again, and we can't plan anything at this stage. So for now it's good, and we're positive now, but maybe give it another month and we'll see.
Yeah, of course. Talking about then the listening to it, just a lot of things from the imagery of the artwork to the track titles to the actual lyrical content. It seems as though you've taken a fair bit of inspiration from modern social and political issues. Was there something specific you wanted to focus on overall, or were you kind of like, well, distill it into individual tracks?
It kind of just happened all as a thing, right? Yeah, I guess there's like it's you picked on that up on that well. There's common themes. I guess the overall theme is that I don't think we've progressed as much as a society as we think we have. And things are pretty similar now to what they were like 50, 60 years ago, just in a different form. So that was that overarching thing leads to a lot of things like talking fair in terms of political correctness and social justice warriors and that kind of thing. And then Choosy Beggars, which the title was Choosing Beggars for that one. The idea of the noble savage, all that kind of thing, I guess tied into it. So yeah, it was there was those overarching themes that then led into things we wanted to go into more specifically, which were the individual songs, and we think it sort of came together quite well. We didn't want to be preachy or too in people's faces about it. We just wanted to kind of be like present things as an idea and see what people thought.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have this platform and you have these thoughts, and it's very always been the rock and metal way where if you have that platform and you have an opinion, it's a sharing thing. We don't do we do ballads, but rarely do you get an album full of love songs a la pop. So, as you say, it's good to get that balance where, say, you're not being preachy, but you also have these opinions and thoughts and outlook on life, and people are always interested in that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if all it does is open up, lines of communication and makes people consider things slightly differently, and maybe next time they're on Facebook or whatever, and they see someone's opinion that they don't like, they might think about some of the lyrics in our songs and be like, actually, I won't go and set the torch to them. I'll think about it a little bit more, see if I actually do disagree with them, or if it's just that this is a different perspective I haven't considered before. So, and if that's all we get out of it, then we'd be pretty happy, I think.
Yeah, I think that's banging. And it's really kind of condensed quite nicely into the artwork of the album, which obviously has a number of almost like Easter eggs where you're trying to pick out what that might be referencing and what that might be referencing.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great aspect of the artwork there. He did, was it Steve Lehman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Local artist did a great job there, and yeah, definitely tied into a lot of the lyrics throughout the album. The Easter eggs are all over there, so...
It's like the heavy metal version of, what is it, Beatles, Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a very varied listen, the album. No two songs quite sound the same, and you draw from a wealth of heavy styles. Put it simply, there's no pigeonholing Shatter Brain at all.
No, and that I don't think that was a deliberate thing. I think each of us in our own previous bands kind of had a bit of that, and it's just kind of evolved naturally, I think, with what we've been doing. We're all kind of late 80s, early 90s kind of kids, and we've all kind of grown up just adoring anything that happened from sort of 83 onwards. And then Tom, our vocalist, he's a bit younger, and he's kind of more into your sort of core kind of stuff. But he played in like Slayer cover bands and stuff like that. So he brings he's got those sensibilities of the more old school metal, but he also brings in this kind of fresh new edge, which I think really, really adds to that very different sound.
Yeah, it's funny when you kind of get sent the details over of who you guys were and so on, and you always get a press release that says, "Oh, they sound like this," and it'll be, I don't know, let's say sludge, doom, rock. With yours, it was so many different things in a row. It was quite funny.
Yeah. Well, we find it quite hard to try and self-categorize because we are influenced by so many different genres, and it just spews itself out in whatever way, depending on, I guess, how we're feeling at the time. And even within certain songs, it'll, there'll be thrash, there'll be death, there'll be doom, there'll be sludge, but we try and put it together in a way that's pretty cohesive and not too all over the joint, and that we feel works pretty well.
Yeah,
and I guess
sorry,
kind of trying to characterize us as well. Like we all love metal, but we all have, well, a lot of us have sort of that hardcore kind of background as well. But we don't want to call ourselves metalcore because that insinuates something that we're definitely not. And metal, hardcore, I don't know. We just, sludge metal, that's kind of formed out of hardcore kids liking Black Sabbath. We sit somewhere in that puddle of all these different genres, and we don't really know. So we kind of say, oh, we're like a crossover sludge band or something, and then the PR agent will chuck all these other things in front of it that they think we sound more like we're more death metal or we're more thrash or whatever. So it ends up being a sentence long genre, but we don't care. People will make up their own minds. If someone gets turned off from seeing that, then that's fine. They probably won't like us anyway because we're not just thrash or we're not just hardcore.
We're metal, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. We love subgenres and categorizing bands, and I don't think I've spoken to a single band in the entire lifetime of doing this who goes, no, we're specifically this, and if we're nothing else. So is the end result, the album, the end result, everything you hoped it would be? Like, are you at your most ultimate satisfied?
Well, I mean, we're all really stoked with it, but we kind of went into the recording process with a very open mind. We didn't want to be too. We pre-pro'd and we planned and we did as much as we could, but we went into recording with the producer that we wanted to record with, Jimmy Boulderstone at Ghost Note, and wanted to be quite open-minded and sort of open up and be produced for the first time and sort of see where that took us. So we didn't really foresee totally what the end would look like, but we're all pretty fucking happy with how it's turned out and the sounds that we've got on the album there.
And you said you've had good feedback so far. Is that from fans who have heard songs here and there, or just from the press side of things?
Yeah, a bit of both. I mean, we've had the final product, I guess, kicking around for a little while now. We got the final masters in about, I think, October last year. So, we showed our friends and people who are sort of close to the band, and they all seem to like it. And then we've had every review we've had in so far from the press has been pretty great. And then even, we were shopping it around to a few different labels, and a lot of them, you'll get your generic replies or whatever, no, not interested, or we're at capacity. But we got quite a few from labels sort of saying, no, this is a great product, but, we'd have to put it out at the end of the year or something like that. And so even that side of things, we seem to get good feedback. So, yeah, I mean, we're interested to see what the wider public thinks of it when it's released next Friday.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, and you talk about shopping around labels. Was it the new album what got you with Wormhole Death?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wicked!
Yeah.
So they heard that and were like, "Yeah, we want that."
Yeah. So there's a guy in Australia, Pete Bursky, who runs a small label called Brilliant Emperor. And he's in a band called Sumaru, and they're on Wormhole. And we were chatting to him, and he was kind of in that boat of like, oh, I'd love to, but I'm already overcommitted. It's just me. And he's like, but I reckon Wormhole would be interested. And he forwarded it on to them, and they heard it, and they said, yep, let's make it happen. So, and they've just been great so far. Carlo and Nat have been really awesome, really excited about it. So we have no complaints.
Fantastic. When we've talked to other Aussie bands about, I guess, breaking out and how difficult it is to get out of Australia and go worldwide, you guys seem to have started that off quicker than anyone else. You've been absolutely hurtling at top speed for some time now. Is that kind of like a band mantra, keep fast kind of thing?
100%. Bang on. We started the band with that in mind of like, we were all in other bands before, and we've all done a varied stuff. But we started this band with the thought process of, yes, we want to tour, we want to record prolifically, and we want to do as much as we can, basically. And we've tried to do that, and I think we've done pretty well so far. Quite a few jaunts overseas, and this will be the third release in 2 years,
just over 2 years.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely that's definitely a mantra of the band. So we'll try and keep doing that, even though it's going to make it a bit harder at the moment. But yeah.
Well, few bands get to start their career without actually an album out and head out, as you say, overseas. You've been to Japan, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So we sort of made a few contacts along the way in our old bands, and yeah, we got Shatter Brain together, and like Matt said, we just thought, let's just hit the ground running. Let's just like get in touch with some of the contacts we know, see if they like what we're doing. And we're pretty confident they would, because it's along the lines of what we've done in our previous bands. And so we managed to have Australia and New Zealand tour booked before we even announced the band. And then we announced a tour of Southeast Asia with Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, the Brazilian crossover band, and a few shows in Taiwan. I think we announced that a month after we had announced the band, and we went off less than 6 months since we played our first show over to Southeast Asia. And then, yeah, Japan at the start of last year, which was just a great experience. Such a hunger for alternative music in that part of the world, which... and they seem to really get what we're doing, because I think they're kind of the same. There's no band that comes out of Japan that sounds just like thrash or just like death. Yeah. They're just like off the wall, and they were digging what we were doing, and we made some great friendships while we're over there. So we can't wait to get back.
It's fantastic. So the growth of the kind of Australian metal scene. Now, it seems to me that in the last couple of years, it's getting larger and larger, and certainly more noticed in our side of the world. Do you think that's because there are so many great bands now coming through, or is it the rise of streaming and YouTube and stuff like that that's kind of put a bit more focus on it?
Bit of both, maybe.
Yeah, a bit of both. I mean, we've always had bands, I think, that are pushing whatever genre they're in. You think about bands like Mournful Congregation that are from right near where we live, and they heard Black Sabbath and they said, let's do that but at a tenth of the speed, before anyone else was doing that. And bands like Damaged and Sadistic Execution and stuff like that that were pushing extreme metal way ahead of anyone else, but lots of people just weren't hearing it because there was such little contact between us and the rest of the world.
So I guess the social media and the internet definitely makes that a bit easier for people to bands get out there and get the word out there. But I guess there's so much more out there as well, so it's more flooded than it was as well. So it's a multifaceted question there. But
I think we're so isolated, and there's lots of we're built on convicts. So like there's so many crazy people out here that are just doing things completely differently. It's just a breeding ground for doing stuff, and especially in something like metal. That's just, it's made for it. So if you do something off the wall, someone's going to like it and someone's going to run with it. And so I think there's definitely something in the water in Australia, and I think just now the rest of the world's starting to see it more easily.
It must be really satisfying from a metal perspective as well, because naturally for so long Australia was associated with one style of music, and it was rock, and it was certain bands at the top. So live or studio, where does Shatter Brain excel in your opinion?
Live. Yeah. I mean, the studio's fun, and we get to play all these cool toys in the studio and put some cool riffs together and make things sound awesome. But yeah, for me personally, it's live. That's what it's all about. And for a band like us, especially with the members we have, and get a few beers in us, get up on stage, it's going to be a good time, and that's what we're about. That's for sure.
The best way to experience is to see you live, basically.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I really, really enjoy writing music and in the studio seeing those little ideas turn into things that you never thought they would. But I don't think you really hear a song properly until you see it live, and until even as a band, until you play it live, things start evolving, and you start to see the full potential of the song. And I think as a band, we're pretty good at translating things to the stage. So I'd agree. I think live is the format for us.
Fantastic. So with that then, if you could put yourself on a bill with 3 bands that are massively important to the sound of Shatter Brain, who would you choose?
Do you want individually, or do we have to debate?
Between the two of you?
Metallica has to be one, right?
Yeah, Metallica would definitely be up there. Even given what they do now, I'd still have it up there.
Supporting you, naturally.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they can open.
I don't know. High and Fire?
Yeah, High and Fire. That would be another one.
Yeah, that's a band I regularly see associated as if you like High and Fire, you'll like Shatter Brain.
Yeah. I think, especially the music side of things. There's a lot of Matt Pike in what we try and do.
And then what's another one we could throw out there?
That's too hard. I guess maybe someone more contemporary, a band like Power Trip or Gatecreeper or something like that. Someone that's, I guess, doing a similar thing, bringing in a lot of different things into a melting pot and creating their own kind of sound. I guess something like, let's say Power Trip.
Yeah, excellent choice. Yeah, you've got a little bit of that crossover appeal, which fits perfectly with you, Metallica and High on Fire.
Yeah, there we go.
What a bill.
There in the end.
Right, last but not least, guys, I'll let you go. What plans do you have in place right now, or you can talk about that you're trying to get in place going forward? Obviously, everything's so locked up and on hold, it's kind of hard to really go too far into the future. But do you have anything in the works?
Well, right now we're just trying to focus on pumping the promo for the album, because we worked really hard on it for so long. Seeing that through, and getting it released, and just, hoping that people like what they hear. And then in the meantime, just keep doing that and keep putting out, our videos. We're putting out webisodes and things like that, which detail the making of the album and things. And so just keep trying to do that. And I think we'll try and put out some more video content, keep current with that, and then just, start getting riffs together. Even though we've just finished an album, let's use the time wisely and put some riffs together before we can go back out and tour again.
Yeah. I think like you said, our motto is kind of turbo all the time. So even now we're itchy to be doing stuff. So we're trying to throw some riffs around, and so no doubt by the time we get out of this, we'll have 2 or 3 albums ready to record straight away. So yeah. But yeah, we'll just we've been putting out the webisodes, so we've got a few more locked away, ready to put out there over the next few weeks. We've got a music video that's just been premiered, and that's being released to the public on YouTube on Monday, our time, so tomorrow. And then, the album will come out next Friday, and we'll probably have another music video a couple of weeks after that. Just focusing on keeping content going and keeping people engaged, and then as soon as we can, we'll be out on the road again.
Perfect. And the important thing to say is Pitchfork Justice, 1st of May, available everywhere, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
Try not to get it.
Yeah, try not to get it. I love it. Guys, thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, Carl. Thanks very much, man. Thanks for having us.
Cheers,
no
mate.
worries. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?